Thank you very much for joining our first OMAIB Round 1 Funding Call webinar. And this webinar will launch our funding call officially. So my name is Haiping Lu. I'm the director of the UK Open Multimodal AI Network, which we call it UKOMAIN. This is a collaboration between University of Sheffield, University of Glasgow, and UCL. And this is funded by the EPSRC Network Plus Tomorrow's Engineering Research Challenges, or TERCs, or TERCs. And the core team consists of 6 executive board members. I'm the director, and Nicola is the deputy director, who is in the room. And we have Natalia, who is the lead for industry and public engagement. And Peter Charlton is the lead for early career researchers, and Dezun Zhao is the lead for UKRI and government engagement, and Yao Zhang is the lead for equality, diversity, and inclusion. And Ayush is our network coordinator, so most of the emails you receive will be from Ayush. And we also have our EPSRC portfolio manager, Ajinkya, who will join us soon. And we are a community that has been growing for more than 2 years. So what you see on the top right is the workshop we had last year at Sheffield around this time. So the agenda, as we already shared with you, we will introduce to you the UKOMAIN project and the OMAIB initiative, and we will clarify our funding call scope, expectations, and timeline, and also share with you the process and the key criteria, and also mention some other related issues. And when we work on multimodal AI, actually our understanding of multimodal AI has changed a lot over the time. So frequently the FAQ, people ask me is, what is multimodal AI? And I have shown this figure last year in the last year's workshop. This is a report from MIT Technology Review Insights in 2023. It says the global multimodal AI market is expected to grow at 32.2% to 8.4 billion. But if you read the report, you will find what we are talking about. Multimodal AI is actually multimedia AI, which mainly talking about images, text, and audio. Those are really multimedia data. But to the general research landscape, our understanding of multimodal AI is much, much broader. It may include chemical structures, social network, and spatial geographical locations, and DNA sequences or store market, and tabular data. These are all possible types of data that we consider as multimodal data. So our definition of multimodal data is much, much broader. And in a few years, 2 years ago, about recently, Tomorrow's Engineering Research Challenge report published by the EPSRC identified 8 TERCs, which cover the space, transportation, material, healthcare, and robotics and AI, global engineering, responsible engineering, and bio-inspired engineering. So when we read through the report, you may find that a common theme is about multimodal data integration. Another common theme is multidisciplinary collaboration. And therefore, our UKOMAIN, our network, is very well positioned to work on multimodal data integration and bring people from multiple disciplinary areas to work together to tackle the tomorrow's engineering research challenges. And for AI researchers, we have frequently seen paper publications on multimodal AI, but the majority of the paper we see, for example, at the top AI conferences, is really model-centric AI, where most papers are proposing a new model that will beat the existing model. That's the majority of the papers we have seen. And with the emerging ChatGPT and large language models, people are paying more attention to data-centric research, where it is critical to get the data and to curate the data and format the data in a particular way so that we can use our powerful machine learning AI models to learn from such data. So that we call data-centric approach and research. It is focused on how to get the data to feed in our AI machine. And what we think become more and more important is more about deployment-centric research, where we will need to consider the deployment constraint early and also the end user needs early, so that our research, when we have get it done, can actually be deployed in real-world scenarios. Therefore, the primary mission of UKOMAIN is to create an open, dynamic, and interdisciplinary ecosystem so that we can have more balanced research, where we have model-centric, data-centric, and deployment-centric research with roughly receiving similar attentions and efforts so that we can grow the multimodal research towards more practical usage. The objective of UKOMAIN, the first one is we want to build a diverse and interdisciplinary network, which we already have a very good foundation. And second is we want to create a knowledge exchange platform so that we can learn from each other, we can leverage the knowledge from our community. And thirdly is to identify and fund key focus areas of potential high impact, because our resources and our funding are always limited. It's unlikely that we will be able to have high impact in all areas of research. Therefore, we have to identify what are the research areas that we have a critical mass and we can become our strengths, particularly for the UK community. And another objective is to engage industry and policymakers, because to move forward deployment-centric research, industry themselves by default, their key mission is deployment. Therefore, by working with industry and policymakers can help us to do better deployment-centric research. And we also want this effort to sustain over the 3 years period, and we want to promote more sustainable research and more responsible research. Finally, we want to, through this network, we want to enhance our research capability and provide trainings for the community so that we can do research more productively. And in the past 18 months, 1.5 years, we have bring together a group of about 40 plus researchers to craft a prospective paper called Towards Deployment-Centric Multimodal AI Beyond Vision and Language. The QR code at the bottom is the preprint. And we have identified 5 multimodal AI specific research challenges and give recommendations on how we can move towards more deployment-centric research in multimodal AI. The first one is multimodal incompleteness, where we have entirely a modality or multiple modality missing at training or inference. Second one is multimodal heterogeneity, where the different modalities have very different, for example, different size, different quality, and they are very difficult to work together, and therefore efforts have to be made to make sure they are interoperable. And next one is cross-modality alignment. We have multiple modalities. We may need to find their correspondence between, for example, between the temporal access or between meaning, right? So whether one modality, that particular meaning, where is the corresponding meaning in the other modality. And also modality complementarity. When we have multiple modalities, whether they are complementary and whether some of them are redundant, and whether we should use all of them, a few of them, or just one of them. And finally, multimodal privacy risk. When we have one particular modality, we may have measures to make sure it's the privacy risk is low, but when we put in multiple modality data together, actually the privacy risk may increase because through cross-analysis, you may be able to identify the subject more easily. And as a network advocate for open research, our expected research outcomes are primarily in these three areas. The first one is we want to have more fair, which means findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable open multimodal data, because data is often the barrier for AI researchers. And the second is we want to have more fair open source software so that we can use and reuse our software freely to apply to different problems. And the third critical outcome is that we want to build critical mass in a few key focus areas.